But Sean, I've noticed I've been saying a lot. You know, my mom always says if you hang around the barber shop at some point in time, you're going to get a haircut. I think I've gotten a haircut and I didn't want one. So each time I say it bugs me because my mom is saying, oh no. I remember I was 4. And don't ask me how I remember this, but I do remember it clearly. You know, when you would go to the doctor for your checkups. So I went for my checkup and I knew a shot was coming because my mom had zebra gum with her. And that's what she would always give you, the zebra gum. So I go there and the doctor was asking me questions. And I kept saying, And so when we got back to the car, my mom said, do not say, do not say, it's yes or no. And she said, you should have been saying, yes, doctor, no, doctor. I'm like, sorry, I'll remember that. And then she said, here's your zebra gum. So that's why whenever I see the zebra gum or cinnamon gum, give me the bad news now. What's going on? All right. Yes, I'm Mr. Rios.
Welcome back to Time Served, the channel that scans the docket so you don't have to. I'm your boy Phil, and today we have brand new cases from Judge Washington, Judge Stevens, Boyd, and Judge Shackelford gives a family member an opportunity to destroy her brother-in-law for beating on her sister. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, set your notifications to all, and never miss the daily docket. And again, God bless all our veterans. Let's roll, nerds.
Excuse me?
Yes, Mr.
Yes, I was supposed to go to community corrections and I went up there. I had an appointment. And when I went up there, the man said I didn't qualify for any of the programs for the they told me I didn't have to drop, and then they told me I didn't have to do the anger management. And then he sent me away.
And Judge, I would obviously, I don't know anything about.
Well, the fact of the matter is I didn't list any of those as what his violation is. So I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No, the programs with the anger management and all.
Mr. Works.
Do you hear me talking to you?
Yes, I hear you.
Then why are you continuing to talk?
I'm quiet. Sorry.
What I'm going to do is put him in a breakout room with someone from your office today so that he can have a better understanding of where he is with things, because this is not going well for him.
Agreed. Thank you, Your Honor.
B-1724.
Rachel Deputy for the People.
Assistant Public Defender Jay Bond, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Works. Mr. Works, can you unmute and state your name for the record, please?
Darius Works.
Thank you. Your Honor, we have had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Works at this point, and thank you so much for that opportunity. It's my understanding that he will be pleading guilty to the violation, and so I suppose we'll just start there.
Mr. Works, it's my understanding that you're going to waive your right to have a hearing in this matter, and you're going to be pleading guilty to the violation. If so, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. All right, sir. Is it true that you failed to enroll in the CCOP program?
Yes.
Is it also true that you failed to enroll in your GED program?
Yes.
and that you failed to write your letter of apology to the deputy,
Yes.
and you didn't report in October via the online reporting platform.
No, no.
All right. So you need to do those things. You understand that?
Yeah.
What I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to put the sentencing out for 30 days to see if he can start to get on track with any of this stuff that he's supposed to be doing.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
So that'll put us on December the 7th, 2023 at 10 o'clock a.m.
Your Honor, I'm sure that his attorney reviewed this with him, but because Mr. Works had previously commented that he was told by community corrections he didn't have to do any of these things, is he clear that the things he was ordered to do for probation, he is still ordered to do?
Yeah, he explained to me because I was all the way confused. I never did it before.
So thank you.
But I got it now.
Good. So take that 30 days, Mr. Works, and prove to this court that you can come into compliance, okay?
Okay.
You need to reach out to your probation agent, Ms. Johnson, next week on Wednesday, okay?
Wednesday, okay.
Yep. And you should begin to get these things back in order. So call over to, I don't know how you're enrolling your GED. I don't know if you've talked about that yet, but some of these things you can start to do before then, like writing the letter of apology. So you should
Yeah. I had told, me and the attorney, he had told me, I told him it would take a week. I'll do it within a week.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I'll see you on December 7th, sir.
Okay. See you. Thank you.
Thank you.
In front of me, I'm looking at the computer screen. Okay. All right. This is 21-2049, the People versus Matthew Contreras.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. James Kazicki on behalf of Mr. Contreras. Your Honor, Mr. Contreras is going to enter a plea of guilty to the charge. He's asking the court to be sentenced to 93 days. He's also asking the court, because on concurrent, he be given credit for the time he spent in incarceration in Garden City. Documentation is provided, Your Honor. He was incarcerated the first day in September 5th. He attempted a plea by mail, and nothing was, he received no response from this court. So we're asking for that he be given credit for the full time he's been incarcerated in Garden City, and the rest of the sentence runs concurrent with that sentence.
Okay, it should just be noted that this wasn't received by the court until late October, so it's not. I can't say why it hadn't made it up here yet, but it's not like it's just been sitting around. And we also have Ms. Hufford present. Ms. Hufford, did the prosecutor or advocate speak to you about this plea agreement?
Yeah, but I've only got
I'm sorry, you're muted.
Okay. Yes, she did, ma'am.
Okay, so you understand all of that?
Yeah, I can't say that I agree with it, but I understand.
Okay. Okay. So he would plead guilty to as charged to domestic violence. Sir, you understand domestic violence is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of $500?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Did you go over your constitutional rights outlined with your attorney on this advice of rights form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you give your attorney permission to sign your name on that advice of rights form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Contreras, you understand that if I accept the plea of guilty, that you'll be waiving the trial rights on that form. There will be no trial of any kind.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Okay. And you understand that if you're on probation or parole and you enter a plea of guilty, it could be a violation of those conditions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So to the charge of domestic violence, sir, how do you plead?
I plead guilty.
Has anyone forced you to get you to plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea agreement to get you to plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty of your own free will?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Were you in the city of Taylor back on August 4th of 2021?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And were you in a dating relationship with Miss Natalie Hufford?
No, I was not.
Resided in the same home.
You resided in the same home?
Yes, at the
All
time.
right. Okay, well, I'm just worried about it at the time. So, sir, did you do something that makes you guilty here of domestic violence?
Yes, ma'am, I did. We got to an
Did you-
altercation. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We
No, go
got-
ahead. You got into it.
We got into an altercation and one thing led to another. I grabbed her hair and I ended up hitting her in the face. Struck her.
She didn't want you to do that, did she?
No, ma'am, she didn't. And I am truly sorry. And, you know, I'm getting
If you
my
were
life.
truly sorry, you wouldn't be beating on my sister as
I'm
well.
really getting my
All
life.
right. Miss Hufford,
I'm really getting
Go
my
ahead.
life together. And, you know, I do want to apologize, and if I could take it back, I would. And, you know, I had a lot of time to think about it, and, you know, I'm really sorry. And
well, Mr. Hufford, you did have a lot of time to think about it because you've been in bench warrant status twice. And this case is from 2021. So you've had like 2 years and a couple months to think about it because you never come to court. So you're right. You did have plenty of time. Ma'am, if we're going to do an immediate sentencing on this, you have a right to speak. Now is your chance to talk to the court or say anything that you want to say and make your victim's impact statement if you're so inclined.
Yeah, I am, ma'am. The thing with this is it's been ongoing with him. He has multiple charges with Garden City for the same things, domestic with my sister, but my sister never follows through because he sweet talks her while he's in jail for her to drop the charges. And as soon as he gets out, he's right back there in Garden City with my sister. And then this reoccurs again. Why do you think he's in jail now? Because my sister
that's true.
called the police and he got put back in jail for beating on her. I have proof of this.
Sir,
My sister Marcia.
you're Mr. Contreras.
I'm
It's not
sorry.
your turn to talk. It's the victim's time. The lady that you grabbed by her hair and hit in her face, she gets to say something. In this courtroom, she gets to say something, and it's her time, so zip it. Go ahead, Ms. Hufford.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And I do apologize for me interrupting him as well. But like what I was saying, this has been reoccurring. He is in jail right now for the same thing, hitting my sister. And I have proof of this because my other sister, Marcia, showed me bruises that my sister Erica, the one who he is with for 10 years, that he's been beating on all that time. She has pictures that my sister sent to her. And if anybody would like, I could try to get a hold of somebody to show those pictures and
So
text messages.
that's okay. I see a history, certainly.
Yes, ma'am.
Just give me a second here.
It has to stop somewhere, ma'am.
How much more time does he have on that case?
You
know, Mr. Kis-
Updated November 20th.
see a concerning history, not just what the complainant witness or the victim on this case has said, but his history. And I understand, Mr. Gizicki, that he's in right now on assaulting an officer, but I see there was a plea and the DV was dismissed as part of that. So he's in custody for an assaultive crime. While he's been on the run for this assaultive crime, he's continued to commit assaultive crimes and be convicted of them. And I'm not inclined to give him all of that credit. I mean, what he would get sent on 10-4, sentenced to 10-4 to 93 days, credit 30, and he's got an out date of November 20th.
Slap on the wrist.
He can have, I'll give him credit for 30 and he can serve the other 63.
Okay, I need to go in a breakout room with them and.
Yeah, Mr. Contreras, you can talk to your attorney. If not, you can withdraw it. I'll give you credit for 30, but you've been in warrant status here for years. You've continued to commit assaultive cases, and I'm not inclined to just give you 13 days in jail or 17 days in jail, whatever the math is. Mr. Gozi, hello, how are you?
I'm well, Judge. How are you?
I'm good. And Mr. Lechner, I see you here as well. I have Smith in front of me.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Gozi as Carlson. All right. I don't have those files yet. Have both of you spoken with the prosecutor?
I have, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, Mr. Gozi, do you need to speak with the prosecutor?
I just need to fight the balance of my discovery, and then I'm ready to roll.
Okay. So is that you want to talk to him real quick about discovery?
Might as well, yeah. Yeah, I'll talk.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so we're gonna put you in a room and we'll let Omar know, Mr. Shadra know to come and speak with you. And then which one is this? Noise, okay. And then, Mr. Lechner, while we're doing that, Mr. Gozi, we're on it. Give us just a second. Gozi needs to go. Contreras.
Good morning again, Your Honor. James Gizicki on behalf of Mr. Contreras. I had the opportunity to speak with him, and he wishes to go ahead with his plea, understanding he'll only get credit for 30 days, and that he'll have to serve the remaining 63 days, Your Honor.
All right, you understand all of that, Mr. Contreras?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So I'm going to give you 30 days credit, 93 days with 30 days credit. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. And sir, you also understand, just before I accept the plea, that there are certain laws, federal and state laws, that would prohibit you from possessing or purchasing an ammunition or a firearm, including a rifle, pistol, or a revolver, if you were convicted or found guilty of the misdemeanor crime of violence against the current or former spouse, parent, or guardian of the victim, someone you share a child in common with, or someone you were cohabitating with.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. And so if you want to appeal your sentencing, you can appeal to circuit court within 21 days from the date of the sentence or is permitted pursuant to MCR 5625 parent B. If the sentence includes incarceration and you wish to file an appeal but are financially unable to retain an attorney, the court will appoint a lawyer to represent you on appeal if the request for the lawyer is made within 14 days after sentence. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then that's the sentence of the court and we're all set. And he also has a $50 crime victim or state assessment, $75 crime victim's rights fee, $50 fine, $50 court cost, for a total of $150, $225 total. And he can have a payment plan of $50 a month, starting 2/1/23.
Okay, so I don't have, no more, court dates?
You are, well, no, you've got 93 days with 30 days credit. And then you have your payment plan that's gonna start on February 1st when you get out of custody, sir. But
Okay,
no, you don't have any more court dates here as long as you make your payments.
right, okay. Thank you.
All right, you're all set.
Do you know how much the payments would be? Or-
The payments are $50 a month. The total was $250 and it starts February 1st. If you're still incarcerated or you need more time, all you have to do is call the court, sir, and we'll work with you.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Have a good evening.
All right. Yep, thank you. Mr. Gazicki, do you have any other matters?
Smith.
You all must. Sir, why would you, this is ridiculously ignorant. Okay. Somebody must have transposed the P numbers.
Right, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
All right,
I'll fix it.
thank you. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. When prompted to do so, please unmute and state your full name for the court. When prompted to do so, unmute. I said when prompted to do so. This person on this Tino, you are so disruptive to my court proceedings today. You've been disruptive all morning. You've been disruptive all morning. You have been disruptive all morning. Ms. Howard, I'm going to send you to a breakout room to speak with the lawyers. Please accept to join breakout room number 6, Ms. Howard.
Could you go back to Deputy Nora, please?
All right, any objections? And I'm sorry, just so the record can be clear, we're on cause number 2022 CR 4500, State of Texas versus Rodrigo Hasos Rojas. And both parties have agreed the PSI reporting. There are no objections to the PSI report. State, do you have any witnesses?
No witnesses, just argument.
Defense, any witnesses?
None, Your Honor, other than Bryant.
Oh, all right. If you could have him raise his right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Sure.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record, please.
Rodrigo Hasos Rojas.
All right, defense.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Rojas. So this morning we are before this judge, and you understand that the plea agreement was 5 years imposed on your application for deferred adjudication and probation. Is that correct? Is there anything that you would like to tell the judge before he likely to grant you probation?
Yes, sir. I never, since I've been incarcerated, 90 days is the longest I've been incarcerated. Give me time to reflect on my mistakes, you know. I feel bad about it, apologize, you know, I take full responsibility. I have learned more to God.
I'm sorry, I can't hear the last part. What did you say?
I'm more into God. I go to prayer calls, you know, change, you know, I made a mistake, and I was in my place. I was in drugs, you know, drinking, smoking. You grab me probation. I will comply and obey our conditions. Go back to my loved ones. You know.
I also wanted to ask you, Mr. Rojas, prior to the commission of this offense that you're before the judge, and even after that, you mentioned that you were in a bad place. You were on drugs, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Has any court at any time in your adult life, have they ever given you any type of rehabilitation programs or anything that you've done?
No, sir.
Are you asking this court for help?
Yes.
And are you asking this court to place you in classes and programs that could assist you in dealing with that substance abuse problem that you have?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And prior to this arrest, have you ever been convicted before of any other charges?
No, sir.
And if the court will order you to do classes or you motivated to do all of the classes that they ask you to do?
Yes, sir.
You're asking the court to grant you either deferred adjudication or regular probation. Like you're asking my court.
Yes, yes.
I.
State.
Good morning, Mr. Rojas. On August 7th, 2021, you were arrested for terroristic threat, family, household. Who was the victim on that case?
Selena.
Selena Morales, the same victim on this case. Okay, and you were also arrested for resisting arrest, transport on that date. Is that correct?
Same day.
Okay. And then again in October, the date of this offense, you were arrested for violation bond protective order against the same victim. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And interfering with emergency telephone call. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you
Please
were able
whisper.
to comply with your bond conditions. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And then again, after this offense, in June, you were arrested for violation bond protective order, assault, and continuous violence against a family member. Who was the victim in that case?
Selena. Okay, Morales.
All right. So again, you weren't able to comply with your bond conditions. Okay. So you have 6 different open cases right now. Is that correct?
Yes, think so.
Yet you think you'd be a good candidate for probation.
All right, any other follow-up questions?
Yes, I do, Judge. With respect to the complaining witness, he was living with you at the time, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And
Just 1 second, excuse me. Excuse me, Mr. Chair. You all are right behind the court reporter. So if you all could keep it down a little bit. Yes.
And this complainant was living with you at your mom's house.
Yes.
And since your incarceration, the complainant has since moved on.
Yeah.
And do you and the complainant have any biological children?
No.
Have you had any contact with her? You know that you're not supposed to have no contact at all.
Yeah, no.
Has she moved on?
She move on.
Have you moved on?
I move on right now.
I have no further questions.
Any follow-up?
No other questions.
All right, I have a question.
Okay.
Because your attorney mentioned that you were not given any help for your drug issues. But I see as a part of your conditions of bond, it's random testing and they would offer you drug help. So if you had a drug problem, why didn't you ask for it from them?
Well, I didn't know. No.
What do you mean you didn't know? You were on you were on bond.
I didn't know I could ask for help on. Not sure.
And you're talking about getting back to your loved ones. Who are your loved ones?
Brother, my mom and dad, my sisters, my nephews.
So why didn't you do what was asked of you while you were on bond?
I was hanging with the wrong people.
No, here's the thing. Let me tell you about who wrong people are.
Yes.
If somebody else was standing before me in your shoes, they would say they were hanging around with the wrong people. That's why they were picking up these cases. And I would say, who are those wrong people? And you know who they would tell me? Rodrigo Hasos Rojas. You're the wrong person. And I heard you say you made mistakes. You didn't make any mistake. You made choices. So I'm reading the PSI report and I read the stipulations, and in the stipulations, it said she couldn't call the police because you took her phone. So why did you take her phone?
Well, I was drinking, you know. I didn't want to go to jail, man.
And why did you slap her?
Yeah, I know. We were arguing, and because she just started slapping me, slapped her, no.
No, the officers got there and they said that she had marks on her face and that you wouldn't allow her to use the phone to call the police. The police showed up the first time and she couldn't get to gate to let them in. And they said you're drinking and taking shots, but no drugs. That's what you told the PSI officer. So what, are you just a mean drunk? So you made bad choices, not mistakes.
Yeah, but
You know what a mistake is? Let me give you an example of a mistake. It's raining outside. I know it's raining outside. I bring my umbrella. I come to court. I sit next to somebody in court. They have a black umbrella. I have a black umbrella. I finish my business for the day. I leave the courtroom. I take my black umbrella. I go outside. I open it up. And on the inside, my initials are not there. That's a mistake. I thought I was getting my umbrella. Here's a choice. I didn't check the weather. My mom didn't call me and say, hey, it's supposed to rain in San Antonio. And I come to court and attorneys come in, they have their umbrellas, and I figure, heck, it's raining outside and I don't have an umbrella. And then, you know what I do? I'm leaving. I just grab an umbrella and I walk out. That was a choice. I know that's not my umbrella. So you haven't been making mistakes. You've been making bad choices, and they're horrendous choices. And you need to be at a place where you can sit down and think about the bad choices you've made. You understand? All right. This is what the court is going to do.
Judge,
Yes.
I would like to, on his behalf, to offer something to this court, Judge.
Yes.
Judge, the reason that those bad choices were made, Mr. Rojas did testify that he was in a bad place, Judge. The root of the problem here, Judge, is that he has had a drug addiction. He has never really availed himself of any type of outpatient or inpatient program. He was in a very bad place, Judge. He's not a bad person. He does need help. At the time of the commission of all of this offenses, Judge, he was on drugs. And if anything comes out of this case, Judge, I would like for him to at least get some help that he can learn from this to attack the root of the problem, which is the illness that he has, which is the addiction to the drug. I don't think that sentencing him to prison will solve that, Judge. I think either an inpatient or an outpatient program would be a lot more beneficial.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hasso, I'm going to deny your application. I am going to send you to prison. Would you like the therapeutic community? It will help you with any drug issues. Whether or not they accept you or not is completely up to you volunteering for the program and them accepting you in the program. But if you don't volunteer for it, they're not going to accept you. Do you understand? So would you like that? All right. So I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to 4 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, a $1,500 fine, time and money run concurrent. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Selena Morales. Take in consideration night mag number 664323, 664328, county court cause number 6707553, 666927, 666926, grand jury number 754238 in the therapeutic community. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and actually I've given you something less than you bargained for. And because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction and also an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand? If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you, Mr. Hasos. All right, who's here on Juan Garcia Sanchez?
Okay, I don't have any papers.
Mr. Hand,
Oh, it's probably, he was kind of stuck in his last hearing, I guess.
Yeah, that's what you put in next.
Right here, Joe.
Yeah.
Here.
Hey, what's the site, Mike? There's a question about the jail time. You just did already.
8.302.
okay. Well,
Okay.
thanks, Brian.
Okay, on Robert Lofton, there we go. 23-41666 is called. Mr. Lofton is present. And with Ms. Mantellini, does the defendant waive a formal reading of this indictment? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, sir.
In summary, this indictment alleges that on or about, it's two paragraphs, on or about December 29th, 2022 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the offense of theft, and I'm showing paragraph two or more, defendant has two or more theft convictions in Harris County and Jefferson County courts. And paragraphs 1 and 2 constitute the state jail felonies. That's what we're going on. State jail felony.
Actually, no, Your Honor, it's an 8-year. Where the other paragraphs are.
No, it's a state jail felony, punished as though it was
It's
a second degree felony.
But we're.
So
Yeah.
let's see. All right, I guess. I should actually.
And in deciding which paragraphs to go on, I believe that the paragraph alleging a December 12th, 1978 in conviction is for an act that occurred prior to the September 1978 conviction. So I believe that the court would have one out of all four of those would have one, and then the
Look,
next.
if it's a cap of 8 years, you just need third degree felony punishment, right?
Well, it has to be prior state jails to be third degree felony punishment.
Correct, Judge.
And he doesn't have prior state jails. He has prior regular consecutive felonies, which is why it's.
No, you got. You got in paragraph. You've got two burglaries in paragraphs 1, 2, 3, 4. In paragraphs 4 and 5 on the same date. Doesn't that make that's non-consecutive?
Therefore, they're not consecutive.
I know
so,
that makes third degree felony punishment.
but they're not state jail felonies. They're I would assume second degree felonies.
That's correct, Judge. What she's saying, I believe, is accurate.
Any two prior state jail felonies goes to third degree punishment. Any two consecutive regular felonies goes to second degree punishment. Is my understanding.
What's the statute, please?
I don't have that memorized.
Well, it's Penal Code 12.42.
Right.
5.
Okay, let's see. Enhanced state jail. Okay. State jail felony enhanced by 2 prior felonies in sequence makes a second degree felony punishment, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have burglary. And
no, sir.
well, if you have a burglary in 78, okay, and burglary of 78 and 278706, in the next to the last paragraph, it says after 278706 became final, he commits the felony of aggravated assault of a police officer and was convicted in 86. So that gets you a consecutive.
That would do with Judge. Those two.
So we would be using the paragraph that includes cause number 27806.
Okay, so it would be paragraphs 1 and 2, and 3, and 1 and 2, which constitute the state jail felony. then 4, and 7,
Okey-doke. Yes, sir.
which constitute the enhancement of a burglary of a habitation and aggravated assault of a peace officer in 78 and 86 respectively, which gives you the enhanced felony punishment under section 12.42, subpart A, subpart 2, second degree felony, 2 prior felonies in sequence.
Yes.
Current crime, state jail felony.
But, Jim, we've already gotten him to sign one that says okay. Sure.
Felony. Enhanced with 2 prior state jail felony. Felony. All right. Oh. State jail felony. 2 prior felonies in sequence. Section 12.425, subpart B. Yeah. 12.425, subpart B. 425, repeat for repeat and habitual felony offenders on trial for state jail felony. Okay. All right. I think that's where we are. Section 12.425, which again is a state jail, the current offense, state jail felony, paragraphs 1 and 2. Right.
Yes, sir.
Then enhanced to by these prior convictions, 2 prior felonies in sequence becomes second degree felony, enhanced punishment rates.
And I believe we're going to go on paragraph 4 and 7
All
after
right.
what we just discussed.
So the plan is that you would be pleading guilty to paragraphs 1 and 2. And then that is a state jail felony. Then you would be enhanced with the burglary of a habitation conviction in 78 and aggravated assault of a peace officer, a sequential prior conviction in 1986. And that would enhance then to, what did we say?
Second degree.
Second degree felony punishment. But it's a state jail felony punished as though it were a second degree felony. And that means that you would be facing no less than 2 nor more than 20 years confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. Do you understand?
You understand?
But it's a state jail felony, but it's punished as though it were a second degree felony, and whatever sentence I assess will not exceed 8 years in prison. So you would be looking at no less than 2 nor more than 8 years confinement in prison. You could be placed on regular probation by the court for up to 10 years in length. You can be placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation. Those are 3 different options.
I'm just trying to straighten.
This is just, well, it just gets kind of awkward because there's so many issues here that we're having to fix. All right, is that your understanding of the agreement? Also, you would be paying restitution in the amount of $1,529.95.
Yes.
If I follow this agreement, sir, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes.
How do you plead to paragraph 1 of this indictment, which alleges that on or about December 29th, 2022 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed this, the offense of theft, guilty or not guilty?
Yes.
And paragraph 2, which goes further to state that you have 2 or more theft convictions out of county courts of law 5 of Harris County and 7 of Harris County and 3 of Jefferson County and County Court of Law 2 of Jefferson County, Texas. Paragraph, is that true and correct in paragraph 2, and are you pleading guilty to that?
Yes. Yes.
Thus, paragraphs 1 and 2 together constitute a state jail felony, which means you would generally be facing no less than 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail and a fine up to $10,000. But paragraph 4 goes on to allege in the indictment that you were convicted 1978 in cause number 278706 out of the 177th District Court of Harris County, Texas. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true to that voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And because it's true. Thereafter, that became final. It is alleged in paragraph 7 that you committed the offense of aggravated assault of a peace officer and were convicted of that in February of 1986 in cause number 424048 out of the 232nd District Court of Harris County, Texas. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true to that allegation?
Yes.
Voluntarily and because it is true?
Yes.
So, paragraphs 1, 2, 4, and 7, you're pleading guilty and are true to those voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because all of those allegations are true.
Yes.
Thus, that constitutes a state jail felony, but because it is enhanced in punishment, because of the prior convictions, you are facing no less than 2 nor more than 20 years confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 can be assessed. Do you understand?
Yes.
An agreement's been reached where whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 8 years in prison. So you were looking thus at up to 10 years in of deferred or unadjudicated probation, up to 10 years of regular probation, or no less than 2, no more than 8 years confinement in prison. Is that your understanding of the plan?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And once again, how do you plead to paragraphs 1 and 2, guilty or not guilty, which constitute the state jail felony of theft?
Yes.
And paragraphs 4 and 7, which allege the earlier convictions in 1978 and in 1986 of burglary of a habitation, and aggravated assault of a peace officer. Are those allegations true and correct? And are you pleading true and correct to those prior convictions?
Yes, sir.
I'll show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1. Did you sign that document? Understand it, discuss it with your attorney, or the contents all true and correct?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 tendered into evidence without objection admitted. Among other things, this states that you are mentally competent to enter your guilty pleas, which are freely and voluntarily made. You know what you've been charged with. The indictment's been read to you. You've read them. You were guilty of the crime charged in any lesser included offenses. You were giving up your rights to a jury trial and the right to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses. You're totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All of this is true. It states, so help you God. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Again, you pleaded guilty to paragraph 1, which is theft, which is enhanced to a state jail felony because of 2 or more prior convictions that you have pleaded true to in paragraph 2. And that state jail felony, its punishment is enhanced as though it were a second-degree felony based upon your pleas of true to the prior convictions of burglary of a habitation in paragraph 4 of 1978 out of the Harris County District Court, and paragraph 7, aggravated assault of a peace officer in 1986 out of Harris County District Court as well. You understand all of that?
Yes, sir.
Pre-sentence report waived?
Yeah.
All right. What do you want to do?
We're asking for probation, Your Honor, and
What state say?
My initial offer was 10 years, Judge. And, I came down some in that regard. I recognize that the amount of time between his prior criminal conduct might weigh in his benefit. So what I see is just a long history of criminal conduct.
It is.
And it didn't stop in this regard. And that's why I stood with him having to plead with your honor about whether or not he would receive probation. I believe he should receive 8 years TDC.
What do you say, sir? What do you say?
I messed up.
Which time?
All along, up until
All right.
then and
Why, out of all of this,
I
would you
went
come
out
back
to
and
elevation.
commit a crime like this?
because I slipped.
What did you steal?
I didn't scan the merchandise that was on there. It was beeping, but it didn't scan. And then before he left and went out the thing, they told him, but I didn't go out there and get him. You know, I didn't rush out there to get him. And I took the stuff up to help him. And they said, hey, all that ain't been scanned. I said, yeah, I scanned it. But then the part of it hadn't went through the scanner.
there were things that you allowed to be taken that were not paid for.
That wasn't paid for. So they went back on the thing. They just kept me on. They said, well, we're gonna have to go back over through the video.
How long did you stay in jail when you were
I
arrested?
never went to jail. I mean, I just kept working. They said they'd go investigate.
All right.
At some point, were you arrested and are you on bond right now?
I stayed in jail a week. Then I came back and I went.
All right. Anything else?
I got straight and went to signed up because I'm good with computers and Google got my information and hired me and put me in class.
You need to.
So he's
But
going.
you need to live honestly, sir.
That's what I'm doing now.
All right. Well, it's never too late, but anything else? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find that you have pleaded guilty to paragraphs 1 and 2 and 4 and 7 of this indictment, and as true as well to paragraphs 2, 4, and 7, which are prior convictions, which all boil down to this being a state jail felony conviction with a punishment as a second-degree felony because of the sequential convictions of the prior convictions in paragraphs 4 and 7. So you're looking at no less than 2, no more than 20 years confinement in prison. There is a cap in this case of 8 years, no more than 8 years confinement in prison. I'm going to follow this agreement and find you guilty of paragraphs 1, 2, and 4, and 7, which constitute, I'm saying guilty, but it's guilty really of paragraph 1, enhanced by paragraph 2 to a state jail felony, enhanced further to second-degree felony punishment from paragraphs 4 and 7 of prior convictions. And following this cap of 8 years in prison, I am now finding you guilty of the state jail felony, punished as though it were second-degree felony punishment. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 8 years. I'm going to suspend that and place you on regular probation for 10 years. You must pay restitution in the amount of $1,529.95. So,
in light of the fact that he's just recently had something, I don't quite understand it, but it's Google and it's an opportunity with his IT training, and I would ask the court to maybe not order any upfront time at this moment. And if he isn't, performing properly, then of course you could always.
you're going to pay this $1,529.95, which is ordered as restitution.
I can work, I don't know how much I can get, but I will get together with people, my folks, my mom, she's still.
The quicker you pay that off, the better off it is all the way
How much
around.
a month I can pay, but I can pay some.
If you fail to follow these terms and conditions of probation, your probation can be revoked. You can be sentenced up to 8 years in prison. Do you understand? Okay, we'll get the most important thing, get this money paid back as soon as possible. Anything else?
No, Your
That
Honor.
is all. The probation officer will prepare the documents, and then I will sign that. Okay. I don't believe there's a fine here on this.
But we did have a
Bitch,
prior.
that's what you should be saying.
Okay, Miss Lee,
Okay.
are you
Don't
gonna?
play with me, bitch.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you.